102 Jams 839 right now. We've been telling you it's going to happen. Let's get right into it. We got the homie Nas on the line.
Yeah.
What's up, Nas?
What's going on?
What's happening, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Listen, man, we know you're busy out there with the album dropping and everything. So first and foremost, we appreciate you taking the time to holler at us this morning. You know what I mean?
Got you, bro.
How does it feel to be at this stage in your career, man? 10 studio albums and, you know what I'm saying, some 20 years later, man, and drop an album that the people receive and it comes out number one first week out.
To me, it just shows what hip-hop can do and what hip-hop is capable of. It's like I had a little name circulating in the rap game since I was really 16, 17.
Right.
And I started so young, which is the reason why I've been around so long. But it gives me flashbacks of that early time trying to get into the business and then seeing how far I've come. It's just a very humbling thing.
You know, how do you keep coming up with material to write about, you know what I'm saying, so long in the game, and it seems like a lot of people just get caught up on the same subject matter, the same topics, the same things, and for you to have a catalog at this point, you know what I mean, and things just keep coming to you, new ideas, is that part of it difficult?
I mean, as long as you're inspired to do something, you'll do it. Like, you know, like I've made a lot of records, and they're not all my favorite records. They're not all records that I feel like is something I even want to hear today. You know what I'm saying? Like I made a lot of records that's just about, you know, just growing and living and learning. So, you know, some of those records will be good. They'll stand the test of time, and some of them you wish you never made.
Give me an example. Give me an example of one you wish you never made.
I will not do that right now for myself right now. I will not do it.
All right, well, give me.
No.
Let's go the other way then. Give me one that you're happy about that stood the test of time then.
It stood the test. Well, I mean, I'm really proud that I got to work with Lauryn Hill and make If I Rule the World. I'm really proud that I got a chance to do records like Hate Me Now and How's It's Like and a lot of records that really went over well for me commercially and still stayed a street record at the same time. But, you know, I'm inspired off life, so I take life and then I write.
With that being said, though, Nas, like I do go all the way back, you know what I'm saying, as far as me being a fan of you before I was on the radio and all of that.
Yeah.
Like I go all the way back, homie, to your verse on Akinelli's Live at the Barbecue.
Uh-oh.
Like,
Yeah.
Like I go back to Live at the Barbecue. I know Back to the Grill Again was next. I know Halftime dropped on the Zebrahead soundtrack.
Here we go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was anticipating Illmatic. I remember when, you know what I'm saying, that was around the time period when people really started bootlegging CDs, and I remember how that affected Illmatic, but I still remember the impact that you had on the game. Like, I go all the way back to the beginning with you as a fan. You know what I'm saying?
He means that. He totally means
Wow.
Yeah.
Yo, it's crazy you say that. My first album was bootleg.
Right,
And
I remember.
Like, I couldn't understand it at the time. For me, I was hurt because I was working on this material so long, couldn't wait for it to come out. But I didn't know any better, so I would give my friends copies. I basically meet myself and probably the record company, Columbia Records. We were just so excited to have the album done that we were just giving out copies. Like, we didn't realize that it was going to come back to hurt us. But the album was everywhere. And I'm like, how is this happening? It's like, you know, it's my first album and it's everywhere in the streets. It's bootleg. You know what I'm saying?
Right, so I remember all that.
It was really our fault. But yeah, thank you for that, man. That means a lot to me that you even remember all of that.
No doubt. So let me take you back to the first album and how it relates to Life is Good, right? On your first album, On the World Is Yours, you said, I'm thinking of a word best describing my life to name my daughter. And here we are 10 albums later, and you have a whole song dedicated to your daughter.
Wow.
2 questions. Number 1, when your daughter was old enough to hear that first line about her name describing your life, how does she take it?
Wow.
And secondly, how does she feel about the song Daughters itself?
Well, that line, I think of the word best describing my life to name my daughter. I wrote that before I had a daughter. And the next line I said, my stress, my son, the star, will be my resurrection. And I had my son after, you know, and I would have never known I'd have my kids in the order of that rhyme.
Right.
Right. I never had a conversation with her about that line. I don't think I did, but the daughter's record, her mom had some things to say about the record that wasn't too good.
Right.
Her mom didn't understand the record. So when I made a record about my daughter and me concerned about how she's growing up and about the things that she can get into that I'm telling her I want to see her dream up.
Mm-hmm.
Her mother saw it the wrong way. So her mother, as always, she just never got me and just always kind of try to paint the wrong picture. That being said, I think she was cool with it until her mom started to say negative things about the song. But overall, she was cool with it because she hung out with me. She
gets
while I was shooting a video, and she had a small part at the end. So overall, she was cool with it. I think she felt like, it was like, wow, Dad, why'd you put my business out there? And I said, well, I felt like I wasn't the best father, so I put my business out there too. And I just felt like he wasn't listening, so I had to air you out in front of the world because
maybe that'll get your attention, right?
Yo, exactly. That was my whole thing.
So you're talking a lot about your personal stuff on this album with songs like Daughters and, of course, man, Bye Baby. Like, you're opening up about your life on the album in ways you maybe not have in the past. What allowed you to do that? I
just felt like it was the perfect time to get it off my chest. I've been away from the rap game for a couple of years, like maybe 4 years, without having a studio album, solo album. A lot of things have hit my life, and I just wanted to show people the human side of this. This is going to be real. You got to see the real. If this rap music is real, then every once in a while we're going to show different sides of us that's real. It can't always be everything is, lovely and, there's another side to this. I'm a big rap fan like you guys. I grew up listening to a lot of great, and I felt like a lot of problems with, lasting power. They didn't have the lasting power because they didn't know that they can become human. They had to be rap stars.
Right.
And they didn't really realize there's a side of them that the listener wanted to hear that can help the listener, that the listener can relate to, the human side of them. I want to be that.
People can always come out and attack and say things that hurt, but you do things, it just seems like you do things in such a subtle way. For instance, the album cover, killed it without saying nothing. Where did that come from for Life is Good, the album cover?
I mean, it was something that had to be seen. Unfortunately, we don't see enough originality. We don't see people. I don't get the real side from most of these artists, and I think that's what hurts their careers, or why their careers are questionable after just a few albums, because they won't give you the inside. They won't tell the truth.
Right.
And I had to tell the truth. This thing was in my mind so much, the divorce, and I had to let it out. And the dress was in my house. Well, it's actually part of the dress you see on the album cover. That was the part that was left in the crib. You know what I'm saying? By accident or by whatever, that part was left in the crib. So that was a part I used on my album cover. It just spoke to me. It just, like Biggie said, it came to me like a song I wrote.
Right.
Came to me, and it is.
I think it's dope how you clearly see the tweets and hear the people that's talking trash and you address them. That was like probably my favorite part of the Bye Baby joint at the end, when you address the people that try to sneak this and talk about how, different stuff about your marriage and whatnot, and just telling them, like, you fake pimps out here. Like, you ain't even got the balls to wife your old lady and make an honest woman of her. Like, I thought that was dope. Can you just speak on that for a second?
Oh, I appreciate it. Oh, I didn't know people was tweeting. Oh, they was trying to sneak this. Oh, okay. All right, y'all. Then I got y'all with that line. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm always thinking ahead, man. Like, I just think... But I definitely heard, I guess if it was tweets or whatever, I can't remember. I saw a lot of people wanting to say something slick, but, when you look into a lot of people's lives, they never take any chances. They never really live their life. So they watch someone else that's famous and, is quick to point the finger at them because it makes your life feel better. You see somebody else that supposedly has the best life in the world. They're stars and famous and money and rich, and then they have problems. That's how people feel better by pointing the finger at them. But the reality of it is we're all people. We're
Right.
all people. We're all under the same sun, same moon, same stars. It's Tuesday for you. It's Tuesday for me. Even though you're 3,000 miles away or whatever, we're under the same God. So we all human. So, yeah, let me put you in your place. That's basically what I was saying.
I can dig it.
Super dope, man. And I would also like to say that I'm recently engaged. You feel me? Like, and from what I get from you and your situation, especially from Bob Baby, like if you had to do it all over again, you would do it all over again. Am I accurate in that assumption?
Yes, I would.
No doubt.
Yes.
That's
I
what's
love
up.
it, man. I think anybody that's engaged, well, congratulations to you.
Appreciate you.
And I think it's a beautiful thing. I think if two people can try to work it out, I think it's beautiful.
Absolutely, man. Nas is on the line, man. We're talking about life is good and just everything just in general pertaining to Nas. He's really holding it down. One thing, two things real quick, Nas, man. I felt like on this particular album, and I've seen you go through different changes. You know what I mean? I told you I've been down from the beginning. So I've not always agreed with everything you've done. You know what I'm saying? As far as songs go, you feel me? But I feel like on this album, like you really got back to the lyricism and the wordplay. You know what I mean? Like that's one of my favorite things about this album. Like when I hear you spit on a song like Nasty, it might as well be halftime to me. You know what I mean? Like was that a conscious thing? Like where are you as far as your wordplay and delivery and just lyrics in general?
It was definitely a conscious thing. I was definitely feeling like the last few records have not even been something that the hip-hop community could embrace as, you know, a real hip-hop album that they really favor, that they could say they rock with, because it was just my political views, like the Untitled
Right.
N-Word album, whatever, and then the Hip Hop Is Dead album was my views on the state of the music game.
Right.
So those albums kind of got lost in translation. With those records being my last records out there, they were #1 albums, but, you know, so I was like, all right, cool, but they still didn't resonate the way I know I do this music thing.
Right.
So it was important now, especially with the recent things that I bumped into, that I hit, you know, personal issues, the finances, divorce, this, that. So I was like, you know, it's time that hip-hop gets this kind of album. I just felt like it was time to get this kind of album for me.
Yeah, because that was your stamp. Like, your stamp, you know what I'm saying, when you came in the game was your lyricism. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I know people do things to, you know, adjust and maybe, you know what I'm saying, sell records and stay relevant in the commercial or public eye. Mm-hmm. But to hear you get back to what, you know, most people consider to be your stamp on the game, to me, that was
and
awesome.
not change.
And still be successful with it, right? No doubt.
Yeah, appreciate it. I mean, and my last records were not commercial, or they were not records to stay in the game. And I went on the red carpet with jackets that said, and then, like, I really was playing when somebody told me career suicide. I was really on the opposite of commercial, and with Hip Hop Is Dead, I was just asking to be kicked out of rap. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's the type of person I am. I have to stay true to what I feel and what my beliefs are, and I feel like when I shared my beliefs with the community, it will raise eyebrows, it will cause conversations, it would inspire people to really step their game up, or inspire me to step my game up just by saying hip-hop is dead.
Again, this is Nas on the line talking about life is good and everything. There's always that divide. We're in a weird place with hip-hop where we're, I kind of guess, a second generation, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, older people that have been in the game for a minute have kids that are coming up, and now they're old enough to have the careers themselves. A lot of people argue that it's a young man's game. You know what I'm saying? How do you feel about that? How long can you last as an artist in this career? Things of that nature. Like, do you have the staying power of some of these rock bands, Rolling Stones, that live on forever? Can we do that with hip hop?
Yeah, I think hip hop can do that. What's interesting is all these guys are still, you know, doing it up in their 60s and going in their 70s, and I was just thinking about that the other day. James Brown, I was going to attend one of his shows, but he passed away before that show came up. He's the greatest ever, and I wanted to see one of his shows. And I was like, do I want to still have shows until, you know, it's over? I don't know, but I feel like with rap music, the fans are so, they want their music. They want more. They want more. They want more, that we're forced to put out more product than these other music guys. So I feel like we're going to see now. This is the first time. Like, I got one of the longest lasting careers in the history of rap music, and consistently impacting the community. Not just because I'm alive. Like, a lot of rap artists are still around. They're still alive, but they're not relevant to the hip hop community.
Right.
It's important to me. If I'm not relevant to the hip hop community, then I'll stop.
Right.
If I'm not inspired to make music, I'll stop. But I don't see that happening really anytime soon. The fact that I'm still here and I'm still, this is a blessing. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how far the blessing takes me. When it's time to bow out, I will.
Listen, man, Nas, man, it's been a pleasure to have you on the line today. We know, you're busy. You're doing your thing right now. Do you have any idea when you're going to be in North Carolina?
Come on, please.
Oh, man. I'm not sure, but I got lots of love for North Carolina. Big love for North Carolina forever, man. I mean, I used to come there years ago, and before the music and family and all of that. So, I mean, hopefully soon. Hopefully, if there's a tour that kicks off, hopefully soon, man.
If I'm not mistaken, you had a family in Charlotte, no?
Charlotte, Troy, Mount Gilead, all these little country towns and stuff like that. All over, man. Yeah.
That's what's
the
up.
ladies would definitely love to have the, Nas come out with the little part in the head. We love that. Keep that. Please keep the part. It's so funny because my cousin said, "God, Nas had that part for a minute." I was like, "Yes," and I love it. So leave it alone, okay? Leave it the hell alone.
Yeah, I'm trying to patent that part.
I love it, babe. Keep it right there.
Hey, man, thanks again. We appreciate your time, man. Congratulations on everything and good luck with everything in the future.
Thank you for an amazing album.
Thank you guys, man. It's been great. Appreciate you.
All right.
All right, peace.